Have you ever felt different from the people around you? Not better, not worse, just different. You may be surrounded by people yet still feel alone. You may try to fit in, but something inside you feels uncomfortable. You don't enjoy what others enjoy. You don't think the way most people think. And at some point, you start asking yourself, why don't I fit in anywhere? Why do I feel separated? Why does life feel so quiet lately? Many people think this means something is wrong with them. But what if that's not true? What if this feeling is not rejection, but a sign from God? When God is working deeply in someone's life, He often creates distance, not to hurt them, but to prepare them. Throughout the Bible, we see this pattern again and again. Moses spent years alone before leading people. David was isolated before becoming king. Jesus spent time in the wilderness before starting His ministry. God often separates before He elevates. So if you feel like your circle is shrinking, if you feel disconnected from old habits, if places that once felt comfortable no longer feel right, this may not be a loss. It may be alignment. Separation is uncomfortable. It hurts when people stop calling. It hurts when relationships change. It hurts when you feel misunderstood. But this separation is often not your choice. God allows it because staying comfortable would stop your growth. If you stayed where you were accepted but not growing, you would never become who God created you to be. Here is something important to understand. When God wants to speak clearly, He reduces noise. When God wants to build strength, He removes distractions. When God wants to shape your character, He pulls you away from influences that don't align with your future. That is why shallow conversations feel draining now. That is why old environments feel empty. That is why you feel a pull toward silence and reflection. You are not changing randomly. You are changing intentionally. This season feels lonely because growth often happens alone. Obedience feels isolating when others are comfortable staying the same. But God never separates someone without purpose. He separates to heal. He separates to prepare. He separates to strengthen. This is not punishment. This is preparation. What matters now is how you respond. Some people run back to what feels familiar, even when God has already removed peace from it. Some people fill the silence with distractions instead of listening to God. But if you leave this season too early, you delay what God is trying to build in you. Silence is not abandonment. Stillness is not rejection. This is where identity is formed. Right now, you don't need more people. You need clarity. You don't need noise. You need direction. And God often gives direction in quiet places. Have you ever felt different from the people around you? Not better. Not worse. Just different. You may be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You may sit in a room full of conversations and laughter, yet feel disconnected inside. You try to fit in. You try to respond the way others respond. You try to enjoy what others enjoy, but something within you feels out of place. It's like your heart is tuned to a different frequency. Your thoughts go deeper. Your questions go further. Your silence feels louder than other people's noise. You don't think the way most people think anymore. You don't enjoy the same habits, the same jokes, the same goals, and slowly, without even trying, you begin to feel separated. Then one day you ask yourself, why don't I fit in anywhere? Why do I feel pulled away from everything familiar? Why has life become so quiet lately? Many people assume this means something is wrong with them. They think they are broken. They think they are socially weak. They think they are losing connection. But what if that is not true? What if this feeling is not rejection, but redirection? What if this distance is not abandonment, but preparation? Sometimes, when God is doing deep work in someone's life, He allows separation, not to punish them, but to prepare them, not to hurt them, but to shape them, not to isolate them, but to strengthen them. Throughout the Bible, we see this pattern again and again. Before Moses led a nation, he spent years alone in the wilderness. Before David became king, he was hidden in fields and caves. Before Joseph ruled in Egypt, he sat forgotten in prison. Before Jesus began his ministry, he spent time alone in the desert. Separation came before elevation. Silence came before assignment. Hiddenness came before impact. God often separates before He reveals purpose. So if your circle is shrinking, if your conversations feel fewer, if old habits no longer attract you, if places that once felt comfortable now feel heavy, this may not be loss. It may be alignment. Separation is uncomfortable. Let's be honest about that. It hurts when people stop calling. It hurts when friendships slowly fade. It hurts when relationships change without explanation. It hurts when you feel misunderstood, even when your intentions are pure. But sometimes this separation is not even your choice. You didn't walk away. Peace walked away. You didn't disconnect. Comfort disappeared. God allows this because staying comfortable would stop your growth. If you remained where you were accepted but not growing, loved but not transformed, included but not improving, you would never become the person God designed you to be. Here is something important to understand. When God wants to speak clearly, He reduces noise. When God wants to build strength, He removes distractions. When God wants to shape character, He limits influences. That is why shallow conversations feel draining now. That is why meaningless entertainment feels empty now. That is why gossip feels heavy now. That is why silence feels inviting now. You are not changing randomly. You are changing intentionally. Growth seasons are rarely loud. They are usually quiet. Roots grow in darkness, not in spotlight. Obedience feels isolating when others are comfortable staying the same. Discipline feels lonely when others choose ease. Spiritual hunger feels strange when others are spiritually asleep. But God never separates someone without purpose. He separates to heal what was wounded. He separates to clean what was polluted. He separates to strengthen what was weak. He separates to prepare what will be used. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Now, the most important question comes. How long will this season of separation last? The honest answer is, not every season of separation is permanent. God may hide you for a time, but He never hides you forever. Hidden seasons are training seasons, and training ends when readiness begins. When preparation is complete, God brings you forward at the right moment, not early, not late, exactly on time. You don't have to force visibility. You don't have to chase recognition. You don't have to beg for doors to open. When God opens a door, it stays open. You will know this season is coming to an end when certain things begin to change inside you. You begin to feel peace again, not because circumstances changed, but because you changed. Things start to make sense. Not fully, but enough to trust the path. You stop being afraid of being alone, because you discover you are not alone with God. Your trust in God becomes stronger than your need for people's approval. You no longer panic in silence. You grow in it. These are signs that you've learned what this season was meant to teach you. There is something else you must understand carefully. If you fight this season, you extend it. If you force yourself back into old relationships where peace is gone, you delay growth. If you return to habits God already freed you from, you restart the lesson. If you keep choosing comfort over calling, you slow your own transformation. God's timing is never wasted, but our resistance can delay it. Some people run back to what feels familiar, even after God removed peace from it. Some people fill silence with distraction instead of listening for direction. Some people choose noise because stillness reveals truth, but truth is exactly what sets you free. Remember this clearly. You are not separated because you are weak. You are separated because you are being prepared. Not everyone is created for the crowd. Some are created for calling. Some are created for impact. Some are created for purpose. And purpose is often revealed in quiet places. In quiet, identity forms. In quiet, motives are purified. In quiet, faith becomes real. In quiet, strength is built. Right now you may feel unseen, but you are not unnoticed. You may feel delayed, but you are not denied. You may feel hidden, but you are not forgotten. God works deeply before He works publicly. A seed is invisible before it becomes a tree. A foundation is hidden before a building rises. Preparation is private before purpose is visible. So if you feel different today, don't blame yourself. Don't label yourself broken. Don't call yourself behind. This is not abandonment. This is God at work. Stay faithful. Stay patient. Stay teachable. Stay still enough to hear His voice. Let this season shape your thinking, shape your habits, shape your faith, shape your identity. And when the time comes, you will step forward stronger, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. If this message spoke to your heart, don't ignore that feeling. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing what season of life you are in right now. Because even in separation, you are not alone. God is with you. Cross